How you doing there, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been so long since I have been live. I didn't see the importance of just for me, not for everybody. I just did see the importance of doing the Euro watch-alongs, but I noticed I didn't even have time. So I was watching most of your channels and supporting most of you guys during this whole time. But for now, this is my comeback video, and it's gonna be one of the new shows. I'm gonna call it the Hot Box. Basically invite a few fans, City fans, or fans from other teams, and bring them here and talk about their teams, how they're doing, and what they think is going to happen for their team the next season. But for today, it's all about Man City, as always, the #1 team in England right now. And I'm gonna bring on one of Jamaica's biggest City fans, who's from one of our City groups. That's Hugo. How you doing, Hugo?
I'm good, Patrick. Thanks for having me on your show. Good to hear to represent. We always have some good conversations about our beloved club in our WhatsApp group and so on. So it's good to actually be here with you today. Looking forward to your questions. I'll answer them as best as I can.
No, it's been a long time coming. We were supposed to do a video after the season ended, but for me, I started going back to work. Then things just went mad, and I couldn't even get time to do any of these videos. So you have to work first before doing all this. For some of us, this is just a passion thing. So anyway, Hugo, we're gonna start off with the title of this video. I want to just hear your opinion yourself. For me, I've been hearing that Jack Grealish and Harry Kane are on their way to Man City, and both of these signings are going to cost €100, 100 million above. Let's just say 100 million above. Do you think? Let's start with Jack Grealish, your favorite player, the one you always have a voice. Yeah. Do you think
your viewers know right away that that's straight sarcasm coming from you?
No, I had to say that one. So I said, do you think Jack Grealish is worth that 100 million? And what do you think he's going to fit in this system, or do we actually need him?
Okay. Before I even mention what my thoughts are on Jack Grealish, let us just think. An official bid has not gone to Aston Villa, right? So let us be clear on that. Reports in the media say that £100 million bid was made to Tottenham for Harry Kane. So I think that would be further along. Based on what City has done so far, we think there's more of an indication to signing Harry Kane than to signing Jack Grealish.
Yeah, true.
The next thing is I want us to really look at what our record is now as it speaks, right? We've signed several players for just a little over 60 in the past, right? Our last 3 signings that were in the 60 plus region were Mahrez, very, very prolific player who was PFA player of the year, right? Before won the Premier League before he got to City, right? Yet still, we did not pay 90 million for him that January. We waited until the summer, and the price got down to a little over 60 million when we bought him. Ruben Diaz, our current player of the year, was bought for a little over 60 million again, right? And if my memory serves me correct, Rodrigo, who we like to call Rodri, was also signed for a little over 60 million, coming in for that central defensive midfield role that we needed someone for at the time. Now, what does Jack Grealish play? Or where does Jack Grealish play? Jack Grealish is a creative midfielder, attacking midfielder, right? That likes to play on the left side, right? Now, what are our options on that side? Our options on the left side have been Raheem Sterling since Sane, right? Foden, right? Especially with the of Sterling since January has been Foden, right? But what City has really been doing is trying to have the front 3 be a little bit more flexible. That's what I've noticed.
True. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, fluid. Yeah, flexible.
Across, right? to get the defenses of the other teams thinking and catch them off guard, so that we can get in on goal and so on. So those are two good options. Now those two options that we have, Sterling and Foden on the left, right? One is left-footed, one is right-footed. So it already gives us some form of change. You get what I'm saying? It gives us some difference. What you get from Sterling is not what you get from Foden. You get me? Now, what you would get from Jack Grealish, to me, would be similar to what you get from Raheem Sterling, but with the left foot, right? Because it's more creative, Sterling likes
and more slower. He seems to be more slower. He slows down play. That's what he does. Yeah.
What Jack Grealish does too. I don't want you to think that I'm just a Jack Grealish hater for the hate of it. But what Jack Grealish does a lot of is he draws a lot of fouls. That's also something that Raheem Sterling does a lot for us. You know that, winning those penalties. You mean he did one in the Euros. Everybody says he dived, but you can't touch me when I'm on the run. You know what I mean?
True.
You can't hit a player and not touch ball and expect it not to be called a penalty. So Jack Grealish has that similar quality to Tinger. Mahrez hasn't had that, however. So this is what I'm thinking. Maybe management is thinking that if they get Grealish could be on the left, Sterling could go back to the right, and then they would have both of these players who can draw fouls and get penalties and get free kicks. So that, but our problem is, right? I don't think we've been scoring enough from set pieces, right? In the past, I think we improved a little last season, but we haven't been doing that much. So in terms of those things, I think Grealish would have some value. But $100 million player, I don't think Jack Grealish is $100 million player. That's just my opinion. I do think he's valuable. Maybe we'd pay more than the 60 plus that we've paid for other players because of just, things keep going up. That's just the way of the world. So you're gonna have to pay a little bit more sometimes for a little less these days. It's just how the economy is, right? Granted that the coronavirus has caused a lot of clubs to really lose. You know what I mean? We're not getting the gate receipts the way we used to, and all of that. But I don't mind Jack Grealish coming in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I do mind is him getting $100 million, right? Also, rumors today said he was looking. He's getting an offer from Aston Villa for up to 200,000 per week, salary wise. Come on.
Yeah, I hear that too. Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
When Sterling just came, he had to do what he had to do to lift his wages. He had to show that he was performing. It's been the same thing. Ruben Diaz is going to be getting a raise, right? Foden has gotten a raise, right? I mean, he was just a little boy before, getting little money and whatever. But since he started to play major games for us, we went back to the drawing board, right? City is the club that I think does that a lot, even during the middle of the season. When we realize that we're ahead and players are playing right, we like to give them that little. We have signed many mid-season contracts, right? Over the years, and we have done that to keep our players happy. So I think Grealish can't look for any 200,000 a week from Manchester City. Definitely, that's off the books, right? That's off the books.
That's true. Facts. Those are facts. Yeah. Look, Hugo. Before we move on, now I'm gonna just say hi to the guys. Hi, Adam. How you doing? Miss Melina, how you doing? I'm here with Hugo today. Miss Melina is always a good supporter. She's one of the best YouTubers out there. Thank you very much. Always helps people. Big up to Wantali, and he says big up Jamaica Massive. And we have Man City Portmore. Big up to Patrick and Hugo. And then there's another one for you, Hugo, with the fire. People are enjoying everything. What you're saying, I think people are finally understanding, especially on the group where they say, "Oh, you don't like that Grealish," but today I'm understanding why. I think there's reasons behind this.
More the money for me. It's not that he wouldn't come in and add some, something to the team, but it's the money. And we have to be realistic. We know what City does. City is not going to pay a lot of money for one player, because City's method to winning all these trophies while having good players is improving on the players that we sign, right?
Yeah.
You look back at it. Our best player right now, right? If you ask the layman on the street, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 are going to say Kevin De Bruyne is our best player. Remember, this is a player that has improved tremendously. Yes, he went back to the Bundesliga, played with that team, you know, got the player of the. But when we were buying him, they were saying we were crazy to buy him for that. But what he is accomplished,
he's a Chelsea reject. That's what they said. Yeah.
What he's gotten since he's come to Manchester City is way above what Kevin De Bruyne was before he came to Manchester City. I mean, look at our other good players. Raheem Sterling, right? He would dribble with the ball and create a little at Liverpool and that type of thing. And, you know, the potential was there. But, you know, scoring 17 or 18 goals with 10 or 11 assists in the Premier League alone, back-to-back seasons, that's something that he wasn't. He wasn't that type of player. City built him into that. Pep did that, right? And and that's what I think we look for mainly in our signings, right? Ruben Diaz, player of the year last season. Ruben Diaz wasn't who everybody was looking for us to sign. He wasn't in the top 5 that people were looking at.
Wasn't at all.
But obviously, City scouts, the manager, Tiki, they all know what they are looking for, and we're not looking for mercenaries to just come in and get money and come. Because look, Jack Grealish, and I'm gonna add Harry Kane to this. They want to win. They want to win trophies, Patrick.
Yeah.
So it is they that want the move to come to City. City can sign other players and still win trophies.
That's true.
A lot of people been commenting and saying, hey, if we sign Harry Kane, we're going to win everything. Nah, it's not a given that we're going to win everything if we sign Harry Kane. But what is almost certain is that Harry Kane is going to win a trophy if he signs City. A trophy, which he's never won. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah,
City needs to get backed into a corner because we want Harry Kane. I think the persons that are in the corner right now are Harry Kane and his entourage, his team, right? They need to figure out how they're going to get him to City, right? While, you know, getting his boyhood club a little money or whatever, but at the same time, right? It can't be a mercenary situation.
Look, what you're saying is right, but I'm gonna just ask you something, right? So we're gonna start with Jack Grealish. I'm gonna just start with him because that's the first one we picked. I was just looking around just to see what his stats are, you know, like how he's been doing so far. So there it is. I'm pretty sure you can see it on the screen, right? That's his season this season. That's how he did this particular season of the 2021. He basically had 21 games, and these are just the stats. And then he created 75 chances and goals 6, assists 10. And obviously the tackles and fouls, I don't really care about that. And the 25, that's the fouls and the tackles, not really much. But look, he looks like he's a creator. And as you said before, we don't really have anybody on the left side since Sané left. But what I've also noticed about Jack is he's so similar to a bit of a David Silva, because remember when David Silva was there, he used to slow down the game and find a pass. Don't you think that's what Pep is looking at? He's like, I need a player who's not just a speed merchant, who just doesn't run. I need somebody who's calm, able to draw a foul, able obviously to get into that box, try to beat a man and look for that pass, try to calm things down. Maybe that's the reason why we're looking at him. And I know that 100 million is due to the fact he's English. I think if Jack Grealish was not coming from England, we would be talking about 60-50. To be honest with you, that's for me 60-50. And I think that's what he's worth. Without the media hype, without him being English, I think he's worth 60-50, which is fair. Because you just mentioned Riyad Mahrez, that is somebody who was a player of the season And Riyad Mahrez also won the Premier League with Leicester. He even got them to the Champions League. So we are getting a guy who is just an Aston Villa captain. No offense to Aston Villa, just an Aston Villa captain. He wasn't even first choice in the England team at first. He wasn't. He hasn't even been first choice in the Euros. He always comes off the bench. So we have somebody like Raheem who plays at the left side. Yes, Raheem is better sometimes at the right hand side. So do you think maybe that's what Guardiola is looking for? He's looking for somebody else who can slow down the game like David Silva did, because he used to like that. Pep said, I like somebody who slows down the game. He also pointed at Foden and said, sometimes Foden has to learn how to slow down and look at how the game is. So do you think maybe that's what Pep is looking for?
Okay, let us look at this fully now.
Yeah.
People have been saying Jack Grealish, the fans and the media, social media in particular, right? They are plugging Jack Grealish into the front three at City, right? Now, you don't slow down the play playing in the front three at City. And David Silva was playing in the middle three, right? He was one of our midfield players with those guys running to his left and to his right. You get what I'm saying? If you remember when Sane was there, right? It was David Silva playing to Sane. So who is actually playing that David Silva role, right? Would be more Gundogan at this time.
Gundogan, yeah. Gundogan, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Now, if you really look at this, we did not depend on David Silva for many goals. So I'm not going to bash the amount of goals I'm seeing here for Jack Grealish, because there are only 6 goals, really, though, right? Now, if he's goals at Manchester City, right, for a season, right, Manchester, it's going to be a disappointment. You can't score. It is, if you're going to be in the front three, right? If you're in the front three, you're going to have to score more than 10 goals for us to think that, hey, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You follow what I'm saying?
That's the truth. That's the truth. You're not lying.
From Sterling, Sane, and Aguero, right? Over that period of time. And what we got again from Sterling, Aguero, and Bernardo, right? And then again with Mahrez now, Foden, you realize the goals that we were getting from Foden and Mahrez this year, right? From January coming down. So Jack Grealish hasn't proven that he is a legitimate goal scorer, that he can be plugged into the City front three. So if we're talking about slowing down the game, we're talking about him taking that David Silva role, right? As I'm saying, he can draw fouls, he can maybe hold up play, he can get others involved and so on, right? But getting out Ilkay Gundogan, especially after the season that he had last year, right? It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard.
Okay. Just give me a minute. Let me just read all these. Comments. Somebody, Man City Portmore says 200k weekly for Jack Michael. Isn't that a name of a fish? A tin fish. Okay, great. Okay. 130 TV. Hugo, a lot of people are agreeing with you. They say you're speaking facts. Another one here, Hugo, you're absolutely spot on and knowledgeable. So you are knowledgeable. People are loving the words you're saying. Let's get another one here. 130 TV says Patrick thinks Harry Kane will win you a lot of everything. When did I say that? 130 TV. What did I say? Oh, this is all what I said before. I think in the past I said, and you know what? I'm gonna say this, and as Hugo says, do you know? For me, I even said, okay, even if Harry Kane doesn't come in, this is me. You can even clock this if you want. Some of you people clock and keep this. Even if Danny Ings walked through that door at Man City, Danny Ings, he would score a lot of goals. That's what Hugo is saying. Hugo is saying, as long as you're a goal scorer as a striker, you have to be able to score goals at City. And if you fail to score those goals, then you're not worth it. Because look at the chances created by De Bruyne. De Bruyne will put the ball on a plate for you. He'll hand you the ball. All you have to do is put your head through. All you have to do is put your foot through. So, look, I know this whole Harry Kane. Harry Kane is better than Danny Ings, but Danny Ings also seems to be a baller. The unfortunate thing for Jesus right now, 130 TV, is Jesus stays away from the goal. Every time when he plays a game, his heat map is away from the 8-yard box. And that's what's disappointing for many City fans. I'm pretty sure Hugo would agree with the same thing. It's disappointing to have a striker who's never in the penalty box, and he's never there. Every time, look at Ferran Torres. The Ferran Torres came in a half season, and he scored better goals than Jesus, and he was our highest goal scorer in the Champions League. What did Ferran Torres do? He's always in the box, movement. So Hugo says, if you're in the box and if you come to City, you're supposed to expect 10 over. I think Ferran Torres has more than 10 goals. That's how easy it is to score at City. So if Jack Grealish comes to Man City and comes with stats like 6 goals, we would disappointedly say this is poor. We say the same thing for Mahrez the first season. We called him poor because he had very little goals. So look, I don't think Harry Kane will come to City and will win everything. What I meant was, if we ever get a clinical striker with the amount of service that is provided by Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, Raheem, and them players, we can actually do a lot of things. We can actually be a threat. We were a threat without a striker. You have to remember that. So that's what I meant. Okay, so there's another comment here. They want City to buy Kane and Jack so bad. Obviously, what are you talking about? The media, the English media. Let's see. Sorry, Patrick. We have Sterling and Foden on the left. Grealish one player ahead of these guys. What do you think of that comment, Hugo?
Yeah, well, let me go back to what I had said about that before, Patrick. We have options with Foden and Raheem Sterling. One is right-footed, one is left-footed. Depending on what City would want in a particular game. If we want a player who will cut in more, right? We would play Raheem Sterling. If we want someone who's a little bit more direct, right? Then we would use Phil Foden, and he's left-footed. The fact is, Jack Grealish coming in, I think Pep loves players that cut in, and this isn't now, right? It's been all along. A lot of people think, why is it that Sane was having problems at City? Yep, Sane was doing brilliant. Sane was on that side, he was left-footed. Sterling was on the right side, he's right-footed, and they were playing well, right? But I believe that when Pep wanted to make the switch, that's when he bought Mahrez, right? Because he bought Mahrez knowing that Mahrez would be playing on the right side, and then he still switched Sterling to the thing. So then he had two inverted persons. Remember, even though Mahrez didn't get any game time because Bernardo had him on the bench, right? For that season, it was Bernardo that was playing in the front three, right? Bernardo is also left-footed. You get what I'm saying? So if we're looking to make our squad as rounded as possible, we are not just changing like for like when we make substitutions or when we rotate, which we know City has to do, because all of our players can start at any given time. Once they get their form up, if the player who is getting the start isn't doing what they're supposed to do, you're going to get benched. That's just the City way right now, right? So it's better if we have different types of players. You follow what I'm saying? Not players doing the same thing with the same firepower. You know what I mean? So I kind of have to agree with that comment that we have Foden and Sterling already there. And I don't know why the media is plugging Grealish to the front three, because as you said, we probably need more of an attacking midfielder creator to link up with these guys up front. So we'll be looking more at that number 10 position there. But what City has done, even in the last season, is that you notice even when Kevin De Bruyne isn't playing that false nine and he's in the midfield, he's playing more that attacking role than a central role compared to Gundogan. When David Silva was there, it was David Silva who was more attacking and Kevin De Bruyne who was playing more central. You follow what I'm saying?
So look, let me just read through these comments. We're a bit behind. So there is Rich Sports. He says, big up, Patrick. How you doing, Rich? Thanks for the support. Kim from the City Group says, hey, how you doing? Is it Kim?
Yeah, there's a Kim in our group.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think I speak to her on Twitter too. Is Glitch going to be happy to be a squad player? I think this has been answered. Was this answered already? Look, Rich, as Hugo says, this is the thing about City. Before they talk to somebody, when they're talking to somebody, I think they tell you straightforward what's going to happen. Apparently, Pep will tell you you're coming in. You are not the superstar. You're not the one who's going to be top here. Everybody here has a chance. That's what all the players say. You have to compete. Fernandinho said at the end of the season, if you are not ready to compete, don't come to City because you are not the star at Man City. There's a lot of stars. Hugo just said this, and I hope the English media watch this. These players of yours, Jack Grealish and Kane, they haven't won anything at all. They are coming to a team that's been winning for the last 10 years. They're coming to players who are winners, who've got medals. Jack Grealish and Kane will walk into that dressing room, 0 medals, and they can't even talk to any of the players about winning trophies. They are coming to City to surround themselves with winners. That's why they're coming to Man City. So this whole thing where people are painting the picture that, oh, City are so desperate for these players. We need them, but we're not desperate, because at the end of the day, if you were to find out who's desperate, it might be the other side. Both of these players are going towards the prime. Harry Kane is 28 years old, going towards that end. He needs to win something. So when I see this funny story saying Jack Grealish is changing his mind over going to City because of 200,000 a week, do you know what I say? I said it in my Twitter. This shows weak mentality, as I talked about Son, who signed the contract at Spurs. It means he doesn't want to win anything. Because if somebody is a winner, why would you change your mind? If I wanted to win, Hugo, I wouldn't care about the pay. I would say, even give me 90. Just get me the move. Just get me out of this team. I want to go to City. Give me 90,000 a week. So, look, I think to just answer Rich, yes, he has to be happy to play as part of the squad. Nobody at City is guaranteed. At City, you can be the star for one season, like Bernardo. The next season, it's somebody else. Riyad Mahrez was not the star. It was Raheem. Look at this season. It was Riyad Mahrez and Foden. It changes at Man City. They don't depend on one player. You have to be ready to have a winner's mentality. Okay, so here's another one. Kim, Professor Hugo is on fire. That's from City or Portmore. Let's see another one. Portmore. Yeah, I see so. I see. Okay. Here's another one. Hugo, I hope Mickey isn't watching this.
Mikey.
Yeah. Okay. How Mikey, much would you pay?
Cheerleader.
Yeah, he is. Do you notice? I also hype him. I come every time I'm at work. I purposely throw the Jack Grealish thing and hype him. But anyway, so this one by Rich Sports. Thank you for the question. It's going to bring us to the next topic, right? He says, how much would people pay for Kane? So this brings us to the Kane talk now. So how much would people pay for Kane? As you can see here, that Kane, I don't know if it's true. Days ago, it was reported that it's 160. But Fabrizio said, no, that's a lie. There was a 100 million bid that was rejected by Spurs. So yourself, Hugo, when you sit down and look at Kane's stats, which I'm going to bring here in a minute, and let's just look, since people like stats out there in the world, I decided to get you stats today. We're going to start off with the Golden Boot, where he got 23 goals. And I think apart from getting 23 goals, he got 13 assists. Shots on target 51, and then he gets 23 in total, 23 in total to win the Golden Boot. So what do you think yourself? How much is he worth? Is he actually worth 100+ million? Or these ridiculous amounts are throwing out?
Right. Now, yeah, let me tell you, taking into consideration that he's English, but the English coach, they always overprice the English players. And it's for that particular reason, because each team has to have a certain amount of English players in their squad. And we know the top teams tend to have a lot of overseas players, right? So because of this, having the better set of English players in your team, right, tends to be a plus. You follow what I'm saying? Now, for this alone, it raises the value of Harry Kane. However, Harry Kane has also been a Golden Boot winner for many, many years in the Premier League, right? He's actually the main reason why Tottenham were in the top 4 for all that time. Himself and Son, right? Other players haven't really done much at Tottenham. They had Christian Eriksen for some time, and then he left. They had Luka Modric, and he left. They had Gareth Bale, and he left. I think it's time for Harry Kane to really take what those guys did and you can see those guys left and went to clubs and got trophies, right? Bale went to Real Madrid, Modric went to Real Madrid. It's time now for Harry Kane to leave Tottenham. The thing about Harry Kane is the injuries, right? How old is Harry Kane actually now? Is he what, 27, 28?
28, I think so. 28.
Right. So to me,
I'll check that as you're talking anyway.
To me, that is what goes against you, right? Because we don't want a player getting injured late into, because if you get an injury late into your career like that, it's very hard for you to recover. You follow what I'm saying, and come back again 100%. You follow me? Now, Harry Kane has been over the years not so reliable. You follow what I'm saying? He has not been there.
I found out his age. I found out his age. He's 27. He's 27, and on the 28th of July, he's going to turn 28.
That's 2 days time. That's 2 days time. So he's 28 years old. He'll come to City if it gets done. He's gonna come to City as a 28-year-old, right? Yeah, likely we're gonna give him like a 5-year contract or something like that. We just got rid of Aguero at the end of his contract because he's 33 years old, right? Just turned 33. We said we didn't want him. The reason why we aren't looking at some of the other strikers that have been around for a long time is because they're at that age now. You understand what I'm saying? Luis Suarez got pushed out of Barcelona recently because he's 33, 34 years old. You follow what I'm saying? So when you get that age, the chances are we're not going to have the last 2 years Harry Kane being the same Harry Kane that he is now. So you're actually going to have maybe 3 years max. You can't afford for him to get injured during that time, but yet still he has a history of getting injured. The thing is that when he's fit, he'll be good for us. What we'd have to probably do with a Harry Kane is do the same thing that we've done with John Stones, because some of these English players, they like to hype them, but they're kind of soft. You know what I mean? Raheem Sterling is probably one of the ones that don't get injured regularly. That's what I like about a player like Bernardo, for example, that he doesn't get injured regularly. You know what I mean? But we're gonna need Harry Kane to be fit when he gets there. Is he worth 100 million pounds? I'd say thereabouts, right? We made an offer for 100 million, but going up to 150, 160, like what these people are talking about, absolutely not. Absolutely not worth that much. Not at this age. Not for having a history of injuries and all of that. You get what I'm saying? But a proven goal scorer that he is, definitely worth 100. It's not in any way, shape, or form can we compare Harry Kane's 100+ million value to that of Jack Grealish, right? Because Jack Grealish doesn't lead the league in assists, doesn't lead the league in scoring, right? None of that. So and he's also I think past 25 also, right? So for Harry Kane, I think if we can get him for 100 million or a little over 100 million, we could look at signing.
I think the deal is probably going to end up being maybe around, say, 100, 120 to 130. That's what I feel like.
Okay, well, let's just welcome you, Adam. So Hugo, Adam is one of the City fans who likes to jump on majority of the time. He wanted to jump on. So Adam, you've heard what Hugo has said. He thinks that most of these English players are hyped, which is true. Sometimes they're overhyped. And he thinks that Harry Kane, with the injuries he has at the age of 28, now he's coming to us. It's either now or never, to be honest, for Harry Kane, wherever he is. It's now or never. I think this is just me. If he doesn't come right now, and if there is if there's a sort of block, and he says, "Oh, wait for me 1 year," I think leave him. I wouldn't like him to start coming in at the age of 28. So, what do you think yourself, Adam? What do you think of Harry Kane? What do you think he's worth the 100+ million that he's been sold for by Spurs, or the market price they're putting at here for him?
Good, but you know the problem is with him here. When you look at his stats, when he comes back from injury, Tottenham, they mismanage him. Like he'll literally come back from an injury, and I've looked at it. He'll be chucking into a game, a 90-minute game.
Adam,
Oh,
You're gonna have to speak a bit louder. We can't hear you that much.
can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. I think so.
The
Yeah,
volume is
like
a
what I
little
was
low.
saying.
You turn up the volume.
Like what I was saying, Harry Kane, he'll come back from an injury, and then straight away he'll play a 90-minute game. Like I feel like at City he would not. That would not happen. Like at Tottenham, they rush him because he's their best player. They mismanage him, his fitness. But I feel like if that's at City, they will say to him, "Listen, you came back from an injury, a long injury, and you're not going to play a full 90 minutes. Maybe play like what, say 20, 30 minutes." But at Tottenham, as soon as he comes back from a long injury, they chuck him into a 90-minute game. How are you gonna get the best out of a player? Yeah, you put him in a 90-minute game, and then maybe a few games down the line he gets injured again. It don't make sense. Like look at when say Fernandinho or one of the players gets injured, they ease back into the team. But Harry Kane, he just pushed him to play 90 minutes. It don't make sense if someone's come from a long term injury.
I see where you're coming from. So you're saying if he comes at Man City, unlike Spurs, he's going to be given the opportunity to recover, right? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
that's what I'm saying.
Meaning he's not going to play as many games and he's not going to have so much issues on his legs and stuff. That's what you're saying.
That's, that's what I mean. But he will play a lot of games, but say if he's gone out for say like 2 weeks out for 2 matches or 3 matches, he's not gonna be chucked into the game straight away. He may be eased in like say the last 20 minutes, the last 30 minutes into a game to get his match fitness back. But they're not just gonna chuck him into a full 90 minutes, knowing that he's come back from an injury, at his age.
Okay. What do you think of that, Hugo? Adam says that he thinks at City, Kane will not have so much stress on himself, so he might actually stay longer than the time he used to stay at Spurs.
Well, you see, injuries add up. Injuries add up, and we've seen it with many players over many years. City would not be signing Harry Kane to play the League Cup, which is owned by City, right? We wouldn't be signing him to probably play the early rounds of the FA Cup. So I think he's right in that regard. He's going to get paid to play the Premier League games, to be ready for the Champions League games and to score for us in those games and the latter stages if we get to the FA Cup semi-final and final, or if we are facing Premier League opposition in the FA Cup, then yes. So yeah, that is true. He may not come under that amount of pressure, and we wouldn't have to rush him back to play him a full 90, like what he's saying. So there's something in what he's saying, right? There's something in what he's saying. But as I go back to my original point, he's now 28, right? After 1 year with us, he's gonna be 29. That's just how the clock works, and getting closer and closer. Harry Kane doesn't seem to be that type of person. He's not. You see, one of the things that has kept Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo great for that long hasn't really been just their raw goals. It's been their availability. The reason they scored
True.
all those goals was because they were available. The fact that they can play 90 minutes and not have to come off and not get injured so often and not get injured to a point where you miss 3 months or a full. None of those players have been, right? Now, Harry Kane, and that is because of how they were treating their bodies from very early on. You understand? And just because everyone is made up the same, people are made up differently. You get what I'm saying? Because you can buy a young player. Granted, all of this is a gamble. You can buy a young player like a Benjamin Mendy, and he can come in and injuries just start to hit him, and it's hitting him again and again, and he still doesn't come back. Now, that is what my take is on Kane, that he's kind of like that player that really, he just gets injured. It doesn't really matter if you're playing him, less or more or whatever. He's just a player that is likely to miss a couple weeks in your season.
Okay, before we go, Adam, just wait. Let me just read. I'll let you talk after this. Rich Sports says, "I'm just wondering if Gray should be happy not being the main man." Yeah, we answered that. We say that City, they will tell you that you're here for competition. and I'm pretty sure himself, if it's true and if he's sat down with City, I'm pretty sure he knows what he's coming into. I think he knows exactly what he's coming into. Another one by Rich Sports says, agree, Patrick. No way is he is automatic first choice. Yeah, he wouldn't be automatic first choice. That was Adam saying he wants to get on the show. At the price, though, Haaland seems like a better deal. So, Adam, do you want to answer that? Rich Sports says at the price we're paying for Harry Kane, or the rumors of the price, why don't we just get Haaland?
Because you got to remember, you still got to have to pay the agent fee, which is Raiola, and Raiola's not going to ask for some small amount. And you're forgetting that his dad also wants a percentage of that as well.
20 mil, yeah, his dad wants 20 mil.
So on top of the fee, so say if the fee say 130, whatever Dortmund wants, or 170, yeah, you can have another 40 million on top of that. So altogether, you're paying 200, and Harry Kane's one, you're probably not going to pay that much. So in an economic sense, it makes more sense to go for Harry Kane, because you spend less than that 200 that you would be spending on Haaland, because you end up spending whatever. Because personally, for me, yeah, I don't see Haaland coming to Chelsea this season.
I don't think he is. Dortmund said no.
I kind of see it being like a sneaky way where Bayern, yeah, before his release clause come in effect at the end of next season, I feel like Bayern Munich are going to do the same thing what they did to Upamecano, where they get him in say January, and then they tell him, "Oh, stay there," and then they end up getting him at the end of the season. That's what I feel like is going to happen.
Oh, you feel like Bayern are going to go to Dortmund and just say we want this guy and take him. I have also felt that for a while. Believe it or not, something has been telling me that Bayern are going to go to Dortmund the way they go to all those big teams in Germany.
Because in Germany, it's like a monopoly. Everything, most of the good players, they end up going to Bayern Munich. That's what I feel like. In the back of my head, something just says to me, you know what? He's going to end up staying, and then say in January, Dortmund, Bayern Munich are going to end up making like some deal with Borussia Dortmund, and they're not going to tell nobody. And then at the end of the season, they can announce it that they've got Haaland in some way or some form, and nobody's going to know about it.
Okay, great. Okay, let me just read these comments from City Portmore. What had Grealish ever won or accomplished to come to City and become the main man at the club? That's true. Adam, you said 130 max for Kane. That's a good price. I think if I see them paying 120, 130, I'm okay. 115, I don't know. City Portmore, Kinton, number one City fan. Kinton, we wanted you to come live. You've always said you want to come live. Another one here. I would love to have Harry Kane at City because he will raise the standard of our play. Grealish is the opposite. Okay, so look, here's another comment. Everybody seems to say Harry Kane is necessary, but Grealish is not necessary. That's actually true. And look, Kane also upped his game this season. He became a creator. I was impressed. He was dropping back for Spurs, waiting for the runners. Imagine if he does that at City. But the problem at City is this. If Kane decides to drop back, he's actually taking De Bruyne's place, He's sort of going to be in the same space as De Bruyne and them. So I don't know what Pep is thinking. Is he going to be dropping him back, or he's going to tell him, you stay in front? Here, we don't do that. De Bruyne is here to do that for you. Another one here by City Portmore. Adam, somebody agrees with you about the Bayern thing. Somebody also thinks that he will go to Bayern. The League Cup is owned by City. That's Hugo, your comment from earlier on. Okay, look, guys. So this is just me. I'm going to ask you a question that I'm pretty sure everybody's asking. Since all of us have our opinions on Harry Kane, have our opinions on Jack Grealish, who would you want? Let's say, for instance, right now, you say, I don't really want to pay for Grealish and Kane. Who would you rather look for right now? Who's in current football? Either in the Prem or any other league, who would you want instead of Kane? If we fail to get Kane, who would you want? Even if they play at City. I'm going to start with Hugo before I get to Adam, so I'll start with Hugo. Who would you want to play as striker next season at City, even if they're in the team or they're in another team, who would you take instead of Kane?
All right. For right now, to tell you the truth, if Kane doesn't want to move this season, if Haaland is not available, which I don't think he is, because what happened?
Yeah.
Dortmund is a club. Dortmund buy and sell players for a living, right? They're not like City who buys players and keep players and then be loyal, both sides, player and club and player for something. Dortmund is not like that. Dortmund have a few players that they will keep, but they moved Lewandowski on, they moved Mario Götze on, they moved Ilkay Gundogan on, and so on. Now the thing about that, Andy's comment, or was it Andy or Adam? Adam that's on speaking?
Yeah, Adam.
Yeah, Adam, yeah, that's Adam.
Yeah, Adam's thing about Bayern Munich going for Haaland, and that's where he thinks he's going to go. I think I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. And if we don't get Kane this year, I think Haaland's release clause next year is going to be 60 plus, 68 million.
78,
something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So it would be easier for us to get him next year if Harry Kane doesn't make this move. If Harry Kane makes the move, then we won't be worried. But if Harry Kane doesn't make that move, I'm not sure City won't win the title, the Premier League that is this year. We went to the Champions League final last year, and everybody blames Pep. I mean, he gets praised when we play our beautiful football and we win, so he has to take the blame. Everybody blames Pep for that. We were playing beautifully and so on. So does the team really need to make all that big change if Harry Kane doesn't come? Ferran Torres is a good false nine. Kevin De Bruyne did a great job there. If we don't want him to be to come out of our midfield, we can play Ferran Torres there. Gabriel Jesus hasn't left us yet. We know that he is married to the offside position and all of that. But, we can work on it. You know what I mean? But if Harry Kane doesn't come, I don't think we should just sign any and anybody. Because
for the sake of it,
people act like Manchester City is so desperate. Manchester City is not a desperate club. It's the reason why we didn't buy Mahrez in the January when he was valued 90 million. We waited until the summer and they dropped 30. That's a third of his price, right? We're not desperate is the reason why we didn't sign Koulibaly when De Laurentiis or whatever his name is from Napoli wanted to rob us, right? And we went and got Ruben Diaz instead, and he did his job. You know what I mean? So people are talking all sorts of stuff. They've said we wanted a left back for years. When Benjamin Mendy got injured the first time, we took a CDM in Fabian Delph and put him there and won the league with 100 points. Fabian Delph, people. Fabian Delph was our left back when no club has gone triple figures. No club. And it was Fabian Delph that was playing left back at the time. The following season, Mendy did not get well, and it was Alexander Zinchenko who is there again now. So Alexander Zinchenko has given us 2 Premier League titles, right? While being our number 1 left back. And it's not that we don't have options there either. So for me, this striker position, I do think that we need a striker, but getting somebody in that's just going to fill for the year or so, I don't think we need that. If Harry Kane doesn't come through, we wait until next year. I think that Haaland thing will drop. There will be some pressure there. I don't think Bayern Munich has the money that they'd be able to get Haaland over us. And the difference between Haaland and other players that have gone, stayed in the Bundesliga, is that he has some connection, a lot of connection to City in particular and to England, right? His father,
his father played for City. Yeah,
his father was a City player. He was I think he was born while his father was playing at City, right? So he would have been born in England. Is that so? I'm not quite sure. But he grew up. He grew up while his father. He was a young boy while his father was at City. This ridiculous thing about 20 million for his father, I'm not sure that's gonna cut or fly with anybody, right? So even though we hear about it, it's been floating around there and whatever. When it comes down to crunch time, it may end up that that's just something that doesn't even happen. I've never heard of those types of crazy stuff before. I know that Rabiot has some crazy requests for his mother when he's moving from place to place and that type of thing. But City doesn't really play that type of ball game. And not even Erling Haaland, I don't think we have to bend over backwards for, because all of these people, they have to come to City. We are guaranteed trophy, but we want to win the Champions League. But I don't think we have to go that route. We don't have to go the route of overspending to win the Champions League. We could have easily won the Champions League this year. We went to the final. It was a 50-50 flip of the coin, and we were just on the wrong side of it. So I don't think we need to be spending all that amount of money just to do that. A matter of fact, I think the CDM position is a position that we have been looking at. Now, taking into account some of the things that we've said already during this show, looking at stuff like injury and age, Fernandinho is the captain, right? He is our main CDM, but he wasn't the main CDM all of last season, right? It was Rodrigo. If either one of those guys get injured, based on the squad that we have now, we're pulling back Gundogan like we did in the Champions League final and putting him back to be one of our CDMs. That's what we don't want. So to me right now, if we can't get a Harry Kane this season, right, get that. And Jack Grealish, to me, not even there. You get what I'm saying? Get that CDM. True. Get that CDM that can come in and learn while Fernandinho is still there. Similar to what we did with David Silva being there. We still bought Bernardo. We still took up Foden out of the academy, and we had them there training, so that when he left, it wasn't all doom and gloom. You understand what I'm saying? Because this was just our first season without David Silva, right? And look at what we accomplished. We went to the Champions League final, which we never did without him. Aguero was injured all year, right? People don't look at all of that stuff. Aguero, our main striker, the main goal scorer under Pep Guardiola, apart from Lionel Messi, right? For all that time, because Aguero scored more goals under Pep Guardiola than Lewandowski did at Bayern Munich, right? And look at the amount of goals that Sterling was scoring. Sterling last form. Aguero was injured the whole season. David Silva had just left, and we still ended up winning the Premier League and being there. So let us not be desperate like some of these fans who go on and, oh, we must sign Grealish and we must sign Kane, because if we don't do that, then it's a lost cause. That's not the City way. That's not it for us.
Okay, Hugo. Let me just read the comment here. Thank you, Hugo. Those are very good points. Guys who are just tuning in, we're about to stop the show, but Hugo and Adam have been here. But I've been with Hugo. We've been talking about Harry Kane and Grealish with that worth 100 million. Please subscribe to the channel, guys. True City Fan, and on YouTube. I'm also on Twitter as True City Fan. This is the first episode of Hot Box. It's just a new sort of show I'm starting, where I just get fans to come and talk, because I have been looking around. When I didn't have a YouTube channel, I used to say, why don't they just bring fans to just talk, to just have to talk and have thoughts about what's happening? So I'll be doing this a lot. This is the first episode of Hot Box. There's gonna be another one. If you want to be part of the episode, please go ahead. I'm pretty sure Hugo is gonna be here multiple times, because Hugo has a lot of knowledge, and more of the Jamaican City fans like Kington will also join in, and a few other guys also who I know from the Twitter groups. So Adam, I'm gonna read this first. So, somebody says, if not Harry Kane, then Rotero Martinez. That's the one from Inter. Unfortunately, Inter don't want to sell, but I also will take him. Hazy Rain says Man City are not winning this season. Hazy, you are an Arsenal fan, first of all. And you didn't make it to the Champions League. You didn't make it to the Europa. You didn't make it to the Conference Cup. Let me tell you something. Right now, if you guys, after buying Ben White for 50 million, and you're spending, you bought a new left back, and you keep buying, you also bought from Vincent Company's team, Angelet, you bought a player. If you guys don't make top 4, why you don't have Europa? Because other teams are playing Europa and Conference League. And if you guys don't make top 4, just know your club is finished. I'm not trying to say it's banter, but you have to be worried. If you guys don't make top 4, that you can rest. Right now, you can rest. So, Adam, what do you think? If we don't get Harry Kane, who do you think should be the striker next season at City? And who would you buy in place of Harry Kane if the deal doesn't go through?
I feel like there's going to be 2 options. My first option is go with, say, like they're just interchanging with the fourth line and keep Ferran Torres and Gabriel Jesus and all of these guys. Yeah, and they'll interchange and wait next season to see which strikers are available and that they can get a good deal with. So like they've got Haaland and some other good players that their deals are coming to end or their deals have like 1 year left. My second option is they'll end up going to say like Inter Milan and say to them, look, who who's available? Could we get say a Lukaku? But for me, I don't want a Lukaku. He's a good player, but I don't know whether he'll cut it in that City team. But
yeah, but doesn't look wait, doesn't Lukaku play with De Bruyne? And when they're playing in Belgium, it looks like Lukaku does 1-2s with De Bruyne. They look like they play very well together.
The one player I don't want us to sign is Griezmann, because what does he offer for me? Because even Barcelona don't have the money, and we're not going to do a swap deal with them. Because if they think we're going to do a swap deal, no, I don't want that.
Griezmann wants 8,000 a week, man. He's on like 800,000 a week.
Who's gonna pay him that? Because nobody. City's not gonna pay him that. They're gonna end up making him start from the bottom, yeah, and make him earn his way up like the pay scale. Because it's not gonna be right on players like you've got De Bruyne who's on, I think 385 or something like that, cost 400 grand, and you've got Sterling who's done more at this club, and then you've got Griezmann coming in straight away. He's on 800. That's not right on the players, you know. But those are my two options, I feel like.
Okay, grand. Okay, guys. Just before we close up the show, thank you both for coming on, and thank you all the guys in the comments. Appreciate it. As I said, this is the first episode of the Hot Box, and it's going to be on my channel all the time. I will try and make it weekly, and I will be getting a lot of City fans. As I said, Hugo is gonna be on. I know you guys have loved Hugo today. You showed so much love. Adam, so much love. Adam, you and me I think we were together when we lost the Champions League together. We did a video. So much love, guys. So before we go, that's both from Hugo and Adam. I'll start with Hugo. Who do you want? Who you say you want to sign a DM? I'll start with Hugo since you want to sign a DM. Who, as a DM right now, would you sign? Which name are you looking at?
Frank Kessie from AC Milan, and he'd go straight to taking penalties, because we need somebody to take penalties. So if we get the penalties, it would be Kessie. Now, when you look at Kessie was taking penalties ahead of Zlatan for AC Milan this year, and was one of the main reasons why AC was able to compete this year. At the end of the season, Inter ran away with it, but for a club historically that have a lot of trophies. I mean, they have like 7 Champions League and so on. They were in the wilderness for a while. You get what I'm saying? And to come back and to be able to compete like that, Frank Kessie was absolutely tremendous in letting that in making that happen. So I think Kessie would be a good fit in, and then better to buy him now when Rodrigo and Fernandinho are still there. You get what I'm saying? But it's just to convince the player, and if AC Milan are willing to sell. So as a DM, that's who I would be looking at. Somebody who's hard. Yeah.
Oh, good man. Yeah. What about you, Adam? Who would you want to sign this season, and what area, what position?
Basuma has impressed me very much.
Oh yeah, him.
He's impressed me very much. I feel like he could be a good player that you put, and then he learns from, say, Fernandinho. Fernandinho teaches him the rope, and I feel like he's a good player. He has the energy to go up and down.
Okay, Grant. So Basuma and Hugo says Kessie. So okay, thank you both guys for coming on. Hopefully I see you next week when I'm doing this show again. As I said, this show is going to be the Hot Box. Don't ask me why I called it the Hot Box. I wanted it to be not scripted, just something that people just come on and speak their mind out. So look, thank you guys for joining us. CD Portmore, Hazy Rain, Miss Melina, thank you for joining us. One Tally TV, thank you for joining us today. Rich Sports, thank you for joining me. I'm gonna come back to your channel Fridays. I'm officially free now. And Kim from the City Group, thank you for joining. And everybody who I haven't mentioned who was watching the stream, thank you guys. Please support the channel. As I said, apologies. I was busy with work, so the channel was just sitting there. But look, surprisingly, I still got 17 subscribers while I was just not even using the channel, which is amazing. So thank you guys for the support. That's all from us. Thank you, Adam and Hugo, again, and goodbye to all the guys. Bye.
Okay.
Man.